this tutorial, I will be teaching you how to create a lapped zipper closure in a lined skirt. Lapped zipper closures allow you to use a regular zipper in your garment while hiding the zipper teeth completely from view during wear, creating a nice, clean look to finish your garment. There are more ways than one to create this kind of closure. In this tutorial, I will show you one of those methods, which involves the use of Scotch tape at one point. This tutorial also provides tips on working with a lining while creating this type of zipper closure. The first step is a recommendation and not a necessity. This step helps when working with thin or flimsy fabrics that do not respond well when attempting to iron precise folds into the fabric. If you are working with this type of fabric, I suggest applying a strip of featherweight interfacing to the wrong side along each edge of the two pieces of fabric you'll be joining with your zipper. This reinforces your fabric and gives you more control during the insertion process. Each strip should be approximately 2 inches wide and as long as the distance between the raw edge of your garment, in the case of the skirt I'm making the waist, and the large dot that you should have marked on the wrong side of your fabric to indicate where your zipper stop will eventually be placed. Pin the edge of your garment from the large circle down to the hem, leaving the segment above the large circle, where your zipper will go, free. Stitch the pinned segment using a regular stitch length, being careful to backstitch to reinforce the area at the large dot. Iron out that seam, leaving the segment above the large circle alone for the time being. Next, I want you to lay the garment on your ironing board with the wrong side of the fabric facing up. Grab your iron and seam gauge and create a fold along each edge of the opening that you left for your zipper. Here's the tricky bit. The depth of the fold is different on each side. Look at your garment with the wrong side of the fabric facing up and focus on the opening edge that you see on the right-hand side. Now, create a fold along that edge that is 5/8 inch deep. Along the remaining opening edge that you should see to the left, create a fold that is only 4/8 inch deep. The slight 1/8 inch difference in depth is the secret to creating that lovely little overlapping fold that characterizes a lapped zipper closure. Lay your garment with the opening for your zipper in front of you. The right side of your fabric should be facing up and the wrong side of your fabric should be facing down. Now, grab some pins and your zipper, open your zipper, and pin the right side of the zipper tape along the right-hand edge of your zipper opening, placing the zipper teeth right up alongside that nice folded edge we created earlier. You may place the top edge of the zipper tape approximately at the top raw edge of your garment piece and place the zipper stop at that large dot. However, if you're working with a pattern that directs you to start the zipper tape at another spot, for example, a little below the top raw edge of your garment, go with that. There's a lot of subtle variation that comes into play here depending on the type of waist you'll be installing, and I will not be delving into those variations in this tutorial. In any case, it helps to work with fine, small-headed pins during this step. Longer, thicker pins can get in the way. Notice how I inserted the pins a bit on the diagonal, with the heads of the pins facing away from the folded edge and the business ends of the pins pointing towards the folded edge. I do this for ease of access to those pins while I'm sewing. Here's a close-up of how the pins should look once they are in place. Now take your project to your sewing machine and using a zipper foot installed in the number 1 position, and using a straight stitch in a regular stitch length, stitch that zipper tape in place, stopping to pull out your pins as you go before your needle hits the pins. Remember to backstitch at the beginning and the end. And that's how it should look when you're done. Now let's work on attaching the left zipper tape. With the zipper closed and the right side of your fabric facing up, take the left folded edge of your zipper opening and lay it over the right opening edge that you already attached the zipper to. The left hand edge must overlap the right hand edge by 1/8 of an inch. The next step is to temporarily secure those edges exactly as we laid them, overlap included. Now we could use pins at this point and then use a long basting stitch to secure the edges together before moving on to the next step. To make it easier, this time we are going to use garden variety Scotch tape. Tape those edges together exactly as shown. Next, with the zipper still closed, flip your project over so that the wrong side of the fabric is facing up. Pin the left zipper tape to the left edge of your zipper opening. However, the side you are pinning will appear to be on your right hand side since you now have your project laying with the wrong side of the fabric facing up. Don't worry about where the zipper teeth are at this point relative to the left folded edge of your zipper opening. As long as you've carefully created that 1/8 inch overlap and taped the openings together as previously demonstrated, all will be fine. Go ahead and pin through all thicknesses. Here's an extreme close-up of the right side of the fabric so that you can see how it should look after you are done pinning. Back at your sewing machine, use your zipper foot in the number 1 position and a long basting stitch to secure the left zipper tape in place through all thicknesses of fabric. Remove your pins as you go. These are temporary stitches that you will be removing later, so make sure to use that long basting stitch. Alright, once you're done applying the basting stitches, flip the project back over to the right side and remove the Scotch tape. Now we have something that's starting to look very much like the lap zipper we want. However, we have uneven amounts of zipper tape showing between the left zipper tape and the left hand zipper opening fabric to which the left zipper tape is currently attached. We're going to fix that in the next step. Before we go on, zip and unzip your zipper a couple times to make sure everything's working at this point. There should be no resistance whatsoever. If you encounter resistance, something's wrong and you may need to take out your unpicker and try again. Next, we will apply a neat row of permanent stitches to secure the left zipper tape. We will do this by using the zipper foot in the number 2 position and sewing over the top of the left-hand zipper opening with the right side of the fabric facing up. Remember to switch from basting stitch to a normal straight stitch length at this point. Position the zipper foot so that it is snuggled up just to the left of the left zipper teeth and stitch all the way down the length of that zipper tape. Once again, you want to avoid stitching over the zipper teeth at all costs. If you measured everything correctly in the earlier steps, you should be able to use your 4/8 inch seam allowance guide to help you keep your row of stitches nice and straight. Most of your stitching during this step will be performed with your zipper open. As you get to the bottom, you will eventually encounter that dastardly zipper pull. We're going to get around that zipper pull by lowering our needle, raising the presser foot, wiggling the zipper pull up to close the zipper, and then lowering the presser foot and continuing on our merry, unobstructed way. Take that, zipper pull! Stop stitching when you get just below the large dot. Then drop your needle, raise your presser foot, pivot your project to the left, lower the presser foot, and then continue stitching the very short distance that remains between your main row of stitches and the main garment seam you created a few steps ago. Do a little back stitch and remove your project from the machine. Now our lap zipper looks more like we want it to, with a perfect amount of distance between the left zipper teeth and the fabric to which it is attached, which is to say, not very much distance at all. Remove your basting stitches from earlier, and when you're done, you should have a beautiful functioning lapped zipper. Next, let's talk lining. Create your lining exactly as you created your outer garment, leaving the edges to which you'll be attaching the zipper tape open, just like we did when we made the outside of our garment. Fold and press your seam allowances on those open edges towards the wrong side of the fabric. Now you can pin and stitch the lining to your garment with wrong sides together, matching centers, side seams, darts if you got them, and notches if you got them. A word about the left edge of your zipper opening. Since the zipper teeth are recessed inwards on that side, you'll need to create a little extra fold in your lining so that it doesn't get stuck in the zipper when you work the zipper. Pinch the excess fabric as shown, create a fold, press the fold in place with your iron, and pin. Now you're ready to sew all around the edge. At this point, you'll need to attach your waistband in whatever form is required by the garment pattern you are using. In this tutorial, I will not be delving into the variations you may encounter at this stage. Once you've attached your waistband, you'll have a lining that is attached to the waistband, but not to the zipper tape. We're going to use a slip stitch to secure these elements together by hand. As you sew, alternate between the pressed edge of the lining and the zipper tape right alongside the zipper teeth, tugging a bit on the thread to secure after each stitch. it up, sewing all the way around until all of the lining is secured to the zipper tape. Try not to get too close to the zipper teeth, or your lining could get stuck to the zipper as you work it. Also, just to note, when alternating between the lining and zipper tape, only poke your needle through the thickness of the zipper tape. These stitches should not show at all on the outside of your garment. Et voila! That's French for I adore my new skirt and I can't wait to wear it. I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you have questions or wish to reach me, comment below, or you can find me on Instagram or via email as shown here. Thanks for watching. Little shout out to my sewing student Janet for inspiring me to make this video. This is Eliana, your friendly neighborhood sewing geek, signing off for now.